Cresswind in the Ponds. Man, I'm enjoying living in a Coulter Homes Cresswind here in Charlotte. Tell us about that development in your area.
Yeah, so the Ponds is it's in Somerville, but it's a little bit more of a master plan community. But when you drive in this neighborhood, it is amazing. The name of the street is like Thousand Oaks Drive or something coming into
Right,
the neighborhood.
right.
Huge canopy oak trees over the road coming in. And it's another great one because it's got 55 and non-55 neighborhoods in the Ponds. And so you can, have grandkids and families and multi-generational being in the same neighborhood.
And that's great. Now, are people allowed to buy more than one house from you?
On special occasions, we will allow it.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Well,
If we like you.
that's the beauty of it, because again, if it's somebody in Pittsburgh where you're from or Indianapolis where I'm from gets a job in the Charleston area and they're moving and taking the grandkids, how great would it be for them to live very close? It's golf cart country. So, it wasn't that long ago that I actually made that drive. I've got a video driving through that Cresswind, and I was so blown away by those big trees. Are those like the Spanish oaks?
Yeah, so the Spanish moss is hanging in some of these, and it's just a gorgeous neighborhood. The Cresswinds neighborhood is beautiful also. It's got a great amenity center, big resort style pool and, inside amenities and very active. Lots of, not only amenities, but activities. And one of the great things I love about it, I've seen it done. Mark's mother-in-law actually lives in Cresswind. So big fan of the community right there. He wouldn't have put her there, I don't think, if he didn't like it also. But if you have a club there that isn't existing, go start it. If you think there should be a Tiddlywinks club and there isn't one, go set it up. And next thing you know, there's a monthly. Do you even know what Tiddlywinks is?
I used to be in a band called Tiddlywinks.
This is it's like I meant to say that. It was meant to be.
Well, I'll tell you, I went down there and my wife and I just moved into the Cresswind property here, the newest one. And it's going to be, this one will be the same size as that one. So when I saw how it was building out so beautifully, I thought, man, this is so encouraging,
Yeah.
And I do like the build quality of this builder of Coulter Homes, because people ask you and Mark, hey, who's the best builder?
For sure. Yeah. Listen, what I tell people is I would never put them in a house that I wouldn't sell to my family or move in myself.
Right.
And I love Coulter as a builder. I love what they're doing in that neighborhood. The amenities are gorgeous. And I think one of the cool things about that neighborhood is, and we do see this in a lot of the 55 pluses where, one of the ones that we're going to talk about here is in Nexton today. But this one specifically also, you have access to the amenity centers outside in the non-55 plus neighborhood. So if you have, grandkids, or even if you just want a different vibe of the pool, you can go over to that. But those people aren't allowed to come into yours. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. And that's what a way to go. Because I'm enjoying being around people my own age and people that want the same thing I want. So that's why. And by the way, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about discovering the best 55 plus living near Charleston, because Jeff Gregg and his partner Mark Clem are all about Charleston area living, and they can help you with any of that. So give me a call and I'll connect you to them. So we're talking about 5 on this Charlotte Chatcast podcast. We're talking about 5 great neighborhoods. And so Cresswind in the Ponds. Now, what was cool that I saw there, they've got an event lawn. Do you know that? Like here we don't have our amenities all the way up, but they're being built. But the event lawn, the food truck space, all that, pretty cool stuff.
They do. And even outside of the Cresswind neighborhood itself, there's a huge amphitheater around a pond. There's, biking and cart paths, miles and miles in the neighborhood. There's a fire station right in the Ponds neighborhood. Wow. And there's a really nice YMCA right in the Ponds. We find a lot of people, at the Y, they have the Silver Sneakers program. So they go over to the Y also, in addition to the beautiful amenity center and the gym that they have at the Cresswind.
Yeah. Guys, and by the way, viewers, this is why you need a local realtor with local knowledge. Jeff knows stuff that I would never know, and I know stuff about the greater Charlotte area. So we refer people back and forth. If you're coming down to check it out and you want to go to the coast, call me and I'll connect you to Jeff and Mark, and they'll spend a few days, or their team, and you can spend a few days here with my team. And we would love to have you in the Carolinas. Let's talk price about Cresswind in the Ponds. What do you think the range is for that?
Yeah, 400 to 600. It's starting at 400, and there are existing sales now. We've actually sold properties in Cresswind that we moved people into. Then they've moved on for whatever reason. But so this one is one where you could buy an existing home. You can also build a home from the ground up, so you get to go in and pick your everything. They're going to be built out here eventually, in the coming years. But for right now, you could pick your lot, pick
Hmm.
all your finishes, do all that, and then they also occasionally have some spec homes. So they've built them to up to drywall, and then they've released them to us to sell. You can't pick anything specifically in those, but they really appoint them very nicely.
Well, and that value is great because in this Crestwind in the greater Charlotte area, we have two. The newer one that we're in, it's more expensive than that. I mean, you're
Mhm.
you're definitely getting in the 500s just barely, and
Yeah.
mostly 600s, and some of them are spending even more than that. So maybe that's a great value. So, hey, viewer, if you want to come down and check out the 55 plus in Charlotte area, we'd love to show you. My team and Jeff, Greg, and Mark Klim's team can show you there in the Charleston area. And so we're talking about the 5 best, really. And the next one we're going to talk about is Dell Webb in Nexton, and that's coming up next.